Feel bad, you crying.
Hey, Uma! Not to be popular. It just, I'm inspired by my brother, that reality Temple's brother, the most powerful voice on the internet, that reality Angel Snubbing Up 7. That's right, brother. I'm calling you out, brother. I'm building you. I'm putting you out there, brother. I'm shouting you out. That's my inspiration.
We want to make sure that we're not just working to be first, but we're working to be right. A lot of times there are situations when things are just happening so fast. It's always important to be fast, but we always want to be right.
So when we look at how do we move forward and not ask or beg for reparations, how do we take reparations? Well, the initiative, our organization, we have a plan. And we're going to be taking over cities in Mississippi. We're coming. And see, we ain't going to beg, because there's cities in Mississippi, I'd name one, Mount Bayou, Mississippi. That's all black.
Morals are just, subjective. But when you have laws and things on paper that say, if you do this, we're going to punish you by incarcerating you, and you break them and you're dumb enough to get caught, then you're just dumb.
All right. Shout out to Reality's Temple in the building. Well, just for I got to get him on here, man. You talk about somebody polarizing. Whoa. that brother is, I'll leave that alone. Shout out to the brother, though, Just.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane.
We got the African Day Parade here on Reggie's old block. What's up, Reggie? So what, the garment that you have on, what the flag represents for right here?
Well, as you can see, the man right here, Marcus Garvey, you know what I'm saying, who started to give us our own flag. They came out with a song, the white man came out with a song talking about no one has a flag. Everybody has a flag except the black man.
Right.
So Marcus Garvey said.
And that is Brother Taalik from the Reality Temples on Earth channel. And if you get a chance to subscribe, please do subscribe to his channel. He's a good brother. You know, he's doing good work, and he wants to do good constructive things. He has good information to provide. So please do check out his channel if you get a chance.
I stand for nature. I stand for anything that is right. I'm pro-righteous, not pro-black. I am pro-righteous and not pro-black. So do your thing.
Hey, my brother, you know I had to call you and thank you personally again. I cannot describe to you how happy I was to meet you in person finally. That was just like amazing.
I'm Derek Grayson, and our country is in a fight for its soul. That's because I'll not only help Georgia, I'll help every American patriot in giving them a chance to live the American dream.
Watch as we pray. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Ashe, Ashe. In fact, I tend to the garden of the mind and the pool of the soul daily, praying ceaselessly with boldness, casting my cares on the provider of all things. The protection I have is truth based in wisdom, mission being to eradicate ignorance. With persistent due diligence, I step on devils. As Holy Breath speaks the straight path to eternal life, whom shall I fear? This is much more than rhetorical acrobatics set to rhythm. Our work is an in-depth analysis into the houses built where the soul resides with precision. As J. Dave says, balance is...
When Malcolm went to Mecca, the scales were falling off his eyes. He was able to cast off a lot of the views that had straitjacketed him.
Because of the spiritual rebirth which I was blessed to undergo as a result of the pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, I no longer subscribe to sweeping indictments of any one race.
Malcolm was just emerging as a world leader. He had the opportunity to fully express himself.
How you going to tell me you're a second-class citizen? Second-class citizenship is nothing but 20th century slavery.
This is no longer a rabble-rouser riling up the disfranchised Negroes of American urban centers. This is now a person who's ad hoc ambassador of Black America. His concerns are no longer just the NYPD. His concerns are now the State Department.
Understand this, that the ballot is as powerful as the bullet. And if you don't use the ballot, you're going to have to use the bullet.
Hey, Brother Taalik, I saw you called. I was returning your call. I'm halfway through the video you and Sister Noble made a little while ago. I love you guys. You guys make a beautiful couple. I love this, man. I just had to say that. I hope you guys are having fun, and I'll talk to you soon. Tell her Karen that she's never met said hello. I love her videos. Let her know I'm subscribed. I've been to her website. Such great content. Blessings to both of you. Take care. I hope you guys have fun. All right. Bye-bye.
And I just wanted to make this video clipping for Taalik Ibn'rad. I just wanted to let you know that, we're rooting for the reality temple on earth, the strongest ministry on YouTube for free thinkers like myself. And, I just want to tell you, you have been really and truly awesome. In spite of having over 100 channels canceled, you have been very awesome with your delivery, with bringing us, the message. And, the message is to think for yourself, at the end of the day. And one thing I like about the reality temple on earth is that it allows you to draw your own conclusion. A lot of people, especially people that are power tripping and wanting to be your leader or your teacher or your instructor or your professor or your preacher, don't realize that you're not allowing us our universal given rights, which is to think for ourselves. And that's what I love about the reality temple on earth. And I will continue, to support. And I do need to know in which way financially I could support the reality temple on earth. And I'm more than willing and happy to do so, because of the fact that, I have learned so much and I have gained so much knowledge, and a lot of things have been confirmed that I've studied on my own, and Taalik Ibn'rad, he's a very solid brother, man. I wish a lot of men can be like him, you know what I'm saying? Not bound by religion, not bound by anything, you know what I'm saying? Just speaking from the heart. And that's what it all really boiled down to. And I just wanted to shout you out. You're definitely my favorite YouTuber, and you're definitely my favorite revolutionary, because you're about action and about seeing results, and this is something that you'll never see with the African conscious community. This is something you'll never see with anyone that's proclaiming to be some type of professor or, preacher or anything like that. And, shout out to you. And I just wish you many, many years of success. And, I love the reality temple on earth. And I wish it was a facility I was able to visit here where I live in California. Where we could get the real deal Holyfield. You're not going to get that anywhere else, And the cool thing about it is Taalik Ibn'rad puts a spin on what he discussed, making it sometimes comical, but also real. And that's what I love about it the most. And I just appreciate you, and I love your life. And I hope that you are able to, spread your message, broad on a national level, because really and truly, a lot of people need to understand where you're coming from in order to get that, that understanding that needs to be understood. But yeah, the reality temple on earth is where it's at, and that's definitely what I stand for. And I'm gonna continue to support Taalik Ibn'rad, and I respect his knowledge and I respect his wisdom. And shout out to you, my brother, my soul brother. And y'all have a wonderful day.
Free your mind.
And black folk don't have the wherewithal to change their conditions.
And the reason that they have not historically in America had access is because of the way as you point out in the book, the legal system has been stacked against us. The political system has been stacked against us. The access to real property, wealth, money, land has been prohibited by law.
That's
the
right.
Supreme Court has been used as an instrument against us.
And it's still being used as an instrument against you.
Explain that.
Because initially, when the Constitution was written, all the Constitution did was picked up the old public policy that had already begun on black folk. When black folk first arrived in this country in 1619, there was approximately 20 blacks. By 1634, the Maryland colony came into existence. That time you had about 40, 45 blacks in the country. Mm-hmm. By 1638, something very profound happened, Daryl, that every black person in this country needs to understand. Something very, very profound. What happened in 1638? The Maryland colony put out its first public edict. And what that edict said is that black folks shall never enjoy the fruits of white society. That is very key to what's been happening to you for 400 years.
And that is written and established in American code.
That's right.
Codified as law in
That's
America.
right. And so, and between that point, let's say up for about the next 20 years, for instance, the European colonies were putting pressure on this country, saying, hey, we didn't send you to America to have a good time, just enjoy yourself and sit back and relax. We sent you to relax. We sent you to America to produce some wealth, some resources for our European, continent. Mm-hmm. And most of the colonies were sending letters back saying, hey, we can't do anything in this country. We don't have the wherewithal. It would take us a lifetime to clear the forest, to move the bricks, to get rid of the snakes and rocks. Mm-hmm. And we need a labor force to do it. And at that point in time, the white society knew they had a need. So what happened, they brought together a very strong sense of community around that need and said, we got to find a way of resolving that problem. Mm-hmm. And they looked back at that public edict was put out in Maryland in 1638, which says black folks should never enjoy the fruits of white society, mm-hmm. and they expanded it. Right. So by 1664, 1665, every colony in the United States enacted a slave law that says black folks shall now constitute a subordinated, excluded, uncompensated, non-competitive, managed workforce for the personal comfort and wealth building of white society. And that became your public policy that remained in existence up until recent times.
Why isn't that?
Things that make you go, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you say.
This is an Unc's Crack Pipe research project.
Elijah Muhammad is true. His followers are violent against Negroes.
Against Negroes?
Yes, his followers will go out and attack another Negro, like they will attack me, 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 like they will attack me.
In history, there are things that you can prove, that's written down, which is what a lot of people think facts are these days if it was written. Some things you will find that was written. You might find, okay, where white men were conspiring to keep black people down. White people say nah. Coons say nah. Other people say nah. But then it was written, which is the COINTELPRO. That's something you can't deny. That's something you found in writing. The words are pretty clear. We must prevent the rise of a black messiah who can inspire the masses. Inspire them to do what?
What up, fam? This is Chief X, the God Best, reincarnated with some of this common sense science. So check it out. Title: Farrakhan had nothing to do with the murder of Malcolm X. At all. Let me explain. Because a lot of you guys get confused and listen to bad rumors, listen to newbies, listen to young Pharaoh spit that bullshit and a bunch of other ignorant fools. He had nothing to do with the killing of Malcolm X. Let me explain. Farrakhan, at that time, was not calling no shots. At all. He wasn't with the hierarchy of shot callers and family members. He was a new minister of a mosque in Boston. He was a new minister of a mosque in Boston.
Even so, Attal-i-Shabaab says her father knew the names of the Nation of Islam members who'd been assigned to kill him. Did your father not have a list of the people?
Oh, my father knew everybody, personally.
The people who were out to kill him?
The list was longer than those who actually pulled the trigger. The list was longer than those who actually pulled the trigger. The list was longer than those who actually pulled the trigger.
People from the Newark Mosque are the men who did it, yes?
Now, you ask me, yes. Most of them, from what I understand, were from the Newark Mosque.
And the night it happened, you were at the Newark Mosque?
That is correct.
Coincidence?
Well, look, the minister...
You're from Boston.
Of course I'm from Boston.
He was a new minister of a mosque in Boston.
Coincidence?
Well, look, the minister...
You're from Boston.
Of course I'm from Boston.
Coincidence?
There are no coincidences, only the illusion of coincidence.
Who is RXparations?
Anti-Afro Svengalis.
I first received threats on my life in December. No, not in December, in January. When it first became known that I had come back to New York and told the captain of the fruit in New York, who was my right-hand man formerly, and also the secretary of the New York Mosque and the minister in Boston, and the minister in Boston, and the minister in Boston. When it became known that I had told them, then an effort was made to shut me up.
He was a new minister of a mosque in Boston.
When it became known that I had told them, then an effort was made to shut me up.
Okay? Malcolm X was not his personal teacher. It's like everybody saying Dr. Ben is their teacher, because they listened to him, and he was a leader, in a sense, and a master teacher, so everybody listened to him, calls him a student.
Louis Farrakhan, a former nightclub singer, became Malcolm's student, his acolyte, and Malcolm taught Farrakhan how to live as a black Muslim.
It's not like they had personal one-on-ones.
I will never forget that the day Malcolm came in with an honor guard of about 15 Muslims, including his protege, Louis Farrakhan,
Malcolm X and Elijah, I'm sorry. Malcolm X and Farrakhan wasn't kicking it. They didn't hang out. That's why you may see a picture or two with Farrakhan and next to Malcolm somewhere in the background or on the side. They didn't hang out. They weren't friends. They didn't kick it. Malcolm barely knew the damn man. They didn't hang out. They weren't friends. They didn't kick it. Malcolm barely knew the damn man. Malcolm barely knew the damn man.
Malcolm came and met me and took me to his home on 2311 97th Street. And during the dinner, Betty brought the dinner in. Malcolm began to tell me about my teacher's personal life. Malcolm began to tell me about my teacher's personal life.
We had a law which was that whenever any Muslim became involved in any kind of sexual relationship with someone to whom they weren't married, that person would be brought before the Muslim community, humiliated, and then isolated for from 1 to 5 years. This was our law. Well, in 1954, a teenage sister left Detroit and became one of Mr. Muhammad's personal secretaries. And there in the Chicago office, she became pregnant after being there for a year. And she was brought before the Muslim community and humiliated and isolated. And a year later, another secretary, this time one from Lansing, Michigan, came to Chicago. She also became pregnant. She was brought before the community and humiliated and isolated. And because the other person was never brought forth during this court session, it was concluded by all of Mr. Muhammad's followers that it was a non-Muslim who was the other party. Well, we grew so rapidly that in 1957 or 58, the secretarial staff was expanded to, I think, 8 teenage sisters. In 1959, 6 of them disappeared. 2 of them reappeared in Philadelphia about 2 or 3 months later, and they were all right. The other 4 reappeared in 1960. All 4 of them had babies. All 4 of them had become involved with someone and become pregnant and had these children. So it was, from what I now know, when the 4 of them got back to Chicago and began to compare notes, they found that the same man had told all of them the same story and had made all of them pregnant, that the same man was the father of all 4 of their children and had also been the father of the children brought forth by the 2 secretaries who preceded them. So this story was kept among these sisters until 1962. 2 of them rebelled against the person who was responsible and began to tell the story all over the city of Chicago. It caused many of the Muslims in the Chicago mosques to leave and go back out in the street. They knew it, and I knew nothing about it until 1963, when Mr. Muhammad's son, who had been in prison, came out, and he had been a minister. He was very religious and spiritual, and when he began to hear these rumors around Chicago, he went to one of the sisters, and the sister admitted to him that the rumor was true. And it was he who first told me about it. And when he told me about it, I wrote to Mr. Muhammad and told him about it, and he admitted that he had a knowledge of it, and that he'd given me a religious explanation that would fit into prophecy and all of that, so I was quiet. And it wasn't until October of 1963 that it came up again. And when it came up again, I realized that the same person who had made these other sisters pregnant was still busy doing the same thing. He hadn't stopped. 2 of the sisters had 2 children by the same man. And one of those 2 sisters was pregnant still, getting ready to have a 3rd child by the same man.
Who is the father of all of these various children whom you have enumerated?
The first one to tell me who the father was Wallace Muhammad, and he told me that the father was Elijah Muhammad himself. One of the sisters, he went to the home of one of the sisters, and when he walked in the door, she said, "I want to let you see something." And she showed him her child. She said, "Here's your brother, and your father is the father of this child." And then I questioned the sisters myself, because I was shook up. And they admitted to me that Elijah Muhammad was the father of their children. And I took it to him. And it was at that time he told me that he was Muhammad, the prophet, and that Muhammad had 9 wives. He also told me that he was David. He was the modern David, and that he was the modern Solomon, and that it was meant for him to fulfill today all of the things that they did back there.
And how many of these illegitimate children did he father with the sisters?
Well, he made 6 sisters pregnant. They all had children. 2 of those 6 had 2 children. One of those 2 is having a child right now. I am told that there is a 7th sister who is supposed to be in Mexico right now, and she's supposed to be having a child by him. He may try and justify it by saying that he's a Muslim, and that a Muslim has a right to these wives. If this were the case, these sisters should not have been humiliated. These sisters have been looked upon for the past 5 years, or 6 years, or 7 years as being guilty of having committed fornication. They have been debased. They have been degraded. I have heard him himself refer to them as having disgraced him. So if they were his wives, he should have given them a position of respect so that all of his followers would respect them, and that they would have the protection of his followers today.
It is worthy, if you will, of expulsion.
That is correct.
Adultery.
That is correct. Fornication was worthy of expulsion.
But in 1963, Malcolm X learned that Elijah Muhammad himself had repeatedly committed adultery with some of his teenage secretaries and had children with them. Malcolm agonized over his discovery, and in June of 1964, he told me about it. And he called some of these women who were living in Los Angeles at the time and let me listened to the conversation, and it became apparent that he was telling the truth. And it became apparent that he was telling the truth. And it became apparent that he was telling the truth. He told you about that, yes?
Mm-hmm. And after he finished, he said, now, brother, I could get these sisters on the telephone and trick them and make them tell you that what I'm telling you is true. I said, no, brother, you don't have to do that. When he took me back to the airport, he said to me, brother, now I don't want you to tell anybody what I've told you. I said, no, I'm not going to tell anybody but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I said, no, I'm not going to tell anybody but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I first received threats on my life in December. No, not in December, in January. When it first became known that I had come back to New York and told the captain of the fruit in New York, who was my right-hand man formerly, and also the secretary of the New York Mosque, and the minister in Boston, and the minister in Boston, and the minister in Boston.
He was a new minister of a mosque in Boston.
I said, no, I'm not going to tell anybody but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
When it became known that I had told them, then an effort was made to shut me up.
I could not sleep that night, and 5 o'clock the next morning, as that's our time for prayer.
People, Farrakhan was this student, like they just was cool and had one-on-ones and would chit-chat and had a phone conversation. I doubt they ever had a phone conversation. I doubt they ever had a phone conversation. I doubt they ever had a phone conversation.
Brother Malcolm called me. Brother Malcolm called me. Brother Malcolm called me. He said, Brother Lewis, I want you to delay the letter that you were going to write to give me a chance to write a letter to explain what I said and why. I said, brother, it's going to take me some time to get my head together to write such a letter. So if you can get your letter off in that time, fine. I do not want to be put in between two powerful men.
Are you not perhaps afraid of what might happen to you as a result of making these revelations?
Oh, yes. I probably am a dead man already. 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 I probably am a dead man already.
What have you got to say about it? Did you teach Malcolm? Did you make Malcolm? Did you clean up Malcolm? Did you put Malcolm out before the world? Was Malcolm your traitor or was he out? And if we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is it of yours? And if we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is it of yours? 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 What the hell business is it of yours?
Yes, this is your soul brother Taalik, and this is kind of gonna be a rap video, you know. But I must also say that the title of this video is going to be the hell with black YouTubers. And I must say this because, I was listening to a video last night on Mike Tyson's channel called Hot Box with Mike Tyson. And he had the former NFL football player and actor Terry Crews on his video channel as a guest. And I was listening to Terry Crews speaking on the allegations about him, being gay and all this, according to black YouTubers, even like Willie D, whose opinions I respect in some cases. But, I just couldn't any longer ride with the allegations about Terry Crews being some type of weak, punctified, sissy-fied brother because he stood by and let somebody grab him by the balls in front of his wife. And of course I fed off into that, sound bite by them black YouTubers, But however, when I finally heard Terry Crews speak for himself and his direct response on Mike Tyson's Hot Box show, and of course I usually don't get caught up into this celebrity hype crap like that either. But, because I fed off into those sound bites by them black YouTubers and of course them pro-black YouTubers as well, I must say that I even apologize in the comment section of that video between Mike Tyson and Terry Crews, who he had on there as a guest. And I must say that, this man basically explained that, look, he did not stand there when dude came up to him and grabbed him by the nutsack. He basically pushed him back and was like, what the hell are you doing? According to what Terry Crews told Mike Tyson, who was hosting the video show. And I must say that from Terry Crews' direct response in his account of what happened, he handled that just like he was supposed to, without not only compromising his livelihood, but also, without compromising his integrity and self-respect. Okay? Because had he, did like them black YouTubers claim he should have did, knocked this guy's head off, like I said in the comment section under that video, he would have probably did time, and his kids wouldn't have had their father there for him. And then with them black YouTubers, including Willie D, would they have been there to put food on the table for his kids and family? while Terry Crews would have been given these white folks time in the penitentiary over breaking this dude's jaw for grabbing his nutsack. Okay? So with that said, I mean, you know, I had to bring this up. Because, you know, them YouTubers, the black YouTubers mainly, they always criticizing somebody. You know, just like in the case with Terry Crews for not standing up for themselves when they approach in a sexual assaultive manner of, you know, I mean, they wasn't even there. This is what they heard through media and social media. You know, and of course, like I said, when I first heard about this, I heard about this off Willie D's channel. And of course, you know, I respect a lot of Willie D's opinions. Now, I don't agree with everything the brothers speak on either when it comes to certain subjects and stuff like that, but I do respect some of his opinions, you know, and he keep it straight and direct to the point, you know. But on this note, with Terry Crews, you know, I simply can't ride with the brother, nor black YouTube in general, you know, based on these allegations against Terry Crews, you know, just standing there letting somebody grab him by the balls in front of his wife and him not, you know, doing anything about it and just standing by idly and just being disrespected in front of his wife like that, you know, and me knowing, you know, what kind of, you know, cat that Terry Crews is, you know, and watching him, you know, as an actor, you know, portraying certain images of himself, you know, and I just don't, you know, some told me that Terry Crews, of course, with him, you know, portraying the type of image that he does as an actor, you know, that he just wasn't simply going out like that. So, like I said, when I finally was able to hear him, you know, respond to this, you know, in the video that he was in with Mike Tyson, you know, it confirmed to me what I basically, you know, or what was basically something that was trying to tell me in my own conscience that, you know, this man just simply wasn't gonna just stand there and let that happen like that without, you know, like I said, without him responding, you know, because any man, you know, with the type of integrity that Terry Crews has, just ain't gonna stand there and let another man grab him by the testicles in front of his wife like that without him, you know, stepping to the plate like, hold up, bro, you know, what the hell you doing, you know. So, like I said, in my response to that, in response to black YouTube, I got to say, you know, that's fake of you to even put that brother out there on blast like that without having the facts, you know, and without, you know, thoroughly, you know, giving clear analysis on this situation without facts before you just put this brother out there like he's some type of kind of weakling who would just stand there and let another man grab him by the testicles in front of his wife, without simply standing up for himself against that, So, I salute the brother, basically, for giving his clear, response and contradicting what black YouTubers had depicted him as being in terms of this weak cat, who stood there supposedly and just let some dude grab him by the balls in front of his wife like that. And I'm glad that he gave a clear response to contradict that, And with that said, I really didn't want to stay on here long, but I had to just put that out there, because, black YouTubers need to stop that, and they need to stop, just feeding off into, rumors without first, analyzing the situation before they just, put out these falsehoods about somebody like that, without having the facts first in place properly to, speak on something like this, before they just, just go out the way just to say things without, basically, having a facts straight. So with that said, and I must also say that, once again, that I apologize for feeding off into them sound bites. Because when I first heard about this, like I said, I was like, wait a minute, not Terry Crews. He ain't just going to stand there and let somebody do that in front of his, especially while he there standing with his wife, and while she's standing by watching this, So, I mean, it just flabbergasted me in a way when I first heard it, But of course, like I said, I went and rolled with the falsehood sound bites just like everybody else did. I rolled with it and was like, okay, he shouldn't have let that went down like that, and blase splee and this and that, and yada yada, and all that. So when I finally heard him speak to Mike Tyson on this on his show, I got clarification. And like I said, this is why I don't subscribe to black YouTube.
Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Speak your mind and change will follow. Now's the time, make your tomorrow.
It's your right to vote. Please don't let it slip away.
Don't let the few
rule the many.
Rock the vote. Rock the vote.
Free your mind. Who's in charge? One of my favorite questions to ask. And I don't ask that of people like politicians or celebrities or people like that. I already know that they're in charge of other areas of human activity. So I'll be asking who's in charge to the common people who's supposed to be getting watched over by these watchmen and watchwomen. The ones who's supposed to be making sure that the common folks are not taken advantage of by the others in charge. I question these people all the time. Like when I question their idea about independence. I question if they've ever experienced this independence that they suggest that we need. And I'm not saying that in order to speak on something you need to have experienced it first. Not saying that, because saying that would pretty much suspend all of us from speaking on just about everything we talk about. But there are those times where if we haven't experienced something, we probably just need to shut the hell up. Yeah, there are those times too. Where is this example of the free person that gave you this idea of what freedom looks like? I've been putting that out there for years, but with no response. Why? Well, because they don't have one. They don't have no example of this free person that they say we should be. They make this freedom stuff up in their heads. White people, Asians, Mexicans, Arab, and whoever else ain't black. Why are these people who y'all parade in front of us as people who are doing for self going to the stores like we do?
12 fuel filters for $60, but I only need one. Damn. One fuel filter.
I'm sorry, hon, but those have to be purchased in packets of 12.
12 fuel filters.
Fuel filters? Honey, quick, that jackass is buying all the fuel filters.
What? Leave some for us, jackass!
I need a fuel filter. What are they for? I need one. Well, that man's buying them by the dozen.
Somebody stop him!
Why are their kids being told not to come to school like the same schools black kids are being told not to come to? Why aren't these people in their do-for-self schools since they're so independent and we not? I question y'all's perception of what independence is. Like when I talked about the incident at North Sentinel Island. I saw that being called independence. So I said that those people are protected by the law. And that dude that they got rid of broke the law by even being in there. No law protected them, they'll be exterminated. But us needing the law. When we need the law, y'all call us slaves. White people depend on the government and all these other people too, but us, you call us slaves for it. But them, you still see them as doing for self. For a long time, I've questioned of what use are you people to us. You know, you black power folks. This alarm over the virus.
There we go. All for a bottle of Gatorade.
Black people can't make your Cash App ring and water will come out for us. People got to go to the Walmart or Costco. We're not going to get a few cartons of ammo after we put money in your PayPal either. I question y'all's delusions of doing for self. The Chinese government got to step in to save the Chinese. You folks on here who be talking that do for self stuff, y'all will cast the illusion of if people who run the show look like us and are of us, that it would mean that we're doing for self and we're governing ourselves. When you see us running to the government, though, you call us slaves. Y'all love to tell us what we don't need. Like we don't need the public schools because it's the school-to-prison pipeline. And we don't need religion because they enslaved us with that. And we need to get away from the Republican and Democratic Party and make our own black party. And we don't need this and we don't need that. And yet y'all provide nothing. Everything on earth y'all tell us we don't need and we need to stop depending on it, but y'all provide nothing. You preach to others, you preach abstinence from everything here while y'all indulge in everything. You have nothing separate for yourselves that you are telling other people is detrimental to them. Now let me run through them list of essentials that I'll bring up from time to time, because these folks like to tell us what we should value while they devalue everything we do have. Water, food, housing, weapons, ammo, healthcare, energy like gas and electricity. You know, the essentials here. Y'all provide none of them. But y'all try to forbid everything we do have. What we see in these days is what a government means to a people. You see how the nation is doing what the government say so? I bring it up to the people who suggest that black people pay no never mind to fixing the government and just each one teach one. I bring up people's reaction to the government sounding the alarm to the people who think that they could touch millions quicker than the government or be more effective by going to person to convince them to conform to their twisted way of black empowerment thinking. This virus thing, you're seeing why, this is why we need a government that works and why people should pay no attention to the clowns who say that we don't need to try to fix the government. Like with every one Christian y'all convinced that Christianity is wrong, there are millions that will remain Christian and probably thousands that will be taken to church for their very first time every Sunday as infants.
Now listen, y'all praise God with him. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody believe God with him.
And they'll be in that church till adulthood, or at least until they're old enough to stay home by themselves or run the streets or whatever while mom and dad goes to church.
Conciliation. Hallelujah.
So I'm even looking at your tactics or the ways you approach a situation and how futile it is. Everything about you people is worthless to us. Your perception of the world is useless. You fuck everybody, gang. But the people can't depend on you while you saying fuck the world. We just got us and we all we got. When the most we can get from y'all to feel powerful and protected is a wrench.
You got all your bad boys, they fight and they curse. But Mr. Goody Two-Shoes will whip you worse. But Mr. Two-Shoes, he got some new shoes. So Rob's ready to round with shoes and all the universe. He might be nice, sweet, good and kind, but to put his Converse shoes on and leave tire tracks on your behind.
Nice shoes, KJ. See you later, okay?
Hold up, wait a minute, let me put some truth in it.
Okay. A real short something that grinds my gears. Wow. Okay. Now, a few months ago, I did ask if you are obsessed or your feelings get hurt because I speak the way I do about pro-blackness, blackity-black stuff. I would advise you to leave. You're not hurting my feelings. It's all good. I understand. It's all right. You can, hey, more power to you. I also asked if you are obsessed, you're real loyal, and your feelings get real hurt because somebody is talking about God and Jesus and Allah and Muhammad or whatever. I think that you need to leave and go elsewhere because I'm not letting pro-blackness off the hook. I'm not letting this lie. It's a lie. God does not exist. It's a lie. It's an outright lie. Always been a lie. God has never existed, then or now, it's a lie. That is my position, and I will stand on that position until you can show. It's not up to me. You the one making the claim. You making the claim that this God exists. When you show clear, convincing, and overwhelming evidence that God exists, I will accept that the God exists. Because if you can do that, I know God exists. So I don't have to believe in the God I know. If you can show clear, convincing, and overwhelming evidence that God exists. That's you making a claim, not me. If I say I have $5 in my pocket, we making a bet. I bet you $5. You're going to ask the other person, show me your $5. It's up to me. If I'm making a bet with you for $5, you show your $5, then I have to show my $5. We will not be taking a bet until I produce the $5, or I have to be able to show that I can pay my debt if I lose this bet. Otherwise, there's no bet. It's on me. It's on the person that's making the bet, making the claim, I have $5. Well, where's your $5 at? You, who are believers in these gods, you are the one making these false claims that God exists, because it makes you feel good. It can make you feel good to pretend you have $5 in your pocket and you know you broke. And it's a beautiful thing until somebody asks you where the $5 at. It's a beautiful thing to pretend you have $5 in your pocket, but the reality is you don't. Oh man, I got the $5. I don't want to hear about I got it. Show us the $5. Every time you turn around, something happens that show us either your God has no power or your God does not exist. Which one is it? Because you claim that God exists and you claim that God has all this power. Okay. So now we have the coronavirus outbreak. It's worldwide now. I'm very sure Muslims and Jews and Hindus and all y'all folks that talk about this God, many of you have tested positive for the coronavirus. You locked up in your house. You closed down your businesses. You closed down your mosques and temples and churches. If your God is all that, won't you say, oh, my God got my back. I don't worry about stuff like that. My God is all powerful. My God created the earth, the sun, moon, and the stars. I'm not worried about no coronavirus. That is not what you see. You see the churches closing down. You see in the churches obeying the authorities that say, look, no more than 50 people gathered in one place. Where's your God at? It's very simple. Where's this God at? Where's this power you talking about? Where is Allah? Where is Jehovah? Where is Yahshua, and all this? Where is all these gods at? Where's these spirits and demons and all this spirituality stuff? You take a coronavirus test and you end up positive. Will your spirituality cure you? Many of us, our jobs are being affected by this coronavirus outbreak. So it's making your life hard. So where's your God to help bring you some comfort? The only comfort that you're going to get probably will be in a grave. Until then, you're going to have to just deal with it like all other folks who don't claim any God. There's nothing special about you. You want to force and you want to get angry at people because they won't accept your God, but your God don't do a damn thing for nobody. If I saw your God had some kind of power, if I saw that your God was doing something, your God can stay in the shadows, your God can stay hidden. If I saw your God doing something, I keep my mouth shut. All thing I could do is say, man, those Christians, those Muslims, all those people that believe in God, they're not getting the coronavirus. There's nothing special about you. Your God is doing nothing for you. You're scared to die because of the coronavirus. What you scared of? Somebody put out a post quoting from the Bible. I forgot exactly what the Bible verse is. It was talking about how no army or no kind of force can stand up against the power of God. I forgot what verse it's talking about. But clearly, this coronavirus is kicking all the believers in God in their backside. It's scaring you. You should not be scared. The Lord thy God, the power and the force is on your side. What's his name? The Pope is hiding out. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan better be very careful. He's 80-some years old. And we know that older people are more susceptible and more chances are they would die from the disease. But I'm pretty sure the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan ain't worried about it because Allah and his messenger protects him. But I bet you won't be running around here just shaking hands and things the way that you was doing it. You're going to take precautions. If God is powerful and God is all like what y'all talking about, I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to wash my hands. I don't have to do nothing. I can just live life as normal because God backs me up. You really don't believe your lie. Because if you believed in God for real, you would tell the governor and the president, get the hell out my face. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing or whatever. God got our back. Praise the Lord. But you're not doing that. You are living in fear. You are living in fear because you know this God, your spirituality, your incredible knowledge of the universe or whatever it is, cannot protect you. It's unable to protect you. You have no idea what you're dealing with, this virus. It's really sickening. And you want to continue to promote this lie to children and people who are naive, those who can't think like yourself. You want to keep this lie going on and on and on. How long are we going to keep this lie going on? It's a lie. It's false. Fairy tales. Not too long ago, you was in the mosque, you was in the temple, you was in the synagogue, you was in the church, and some sucker just rolled up with an AK-47, pistols, and shot y'all dead while you trying to worship this God. This God ain't did a damn thing for you. Like Eric Muhammad would say, talk black to me, and I would say to Eric Muhammad, where your God at? Where your God at? This God gets credit for something you cannot prove that it ever done. If you don't do it, if I don't do it, it don't get done. Malcolm X had no power, no God behind him. If Malcolm did not have the charisma, the intelligence, it never would have got done. If it was done by God, anybody could do it. Anybody that believe and backed up by God, anybody could do it. Since you believe in God, God back you up like that. You should be able to do the same thing. Allah, you should be able to do what Malcolm done, but you can't. Is God playing favorites? What's the problem here? This lie, thousands of years. It's time. Welcome to the age of reality. Because what I'm saying would not have been said a few hundred years ago. Welcome to the age of reality, because the things that I say, don't you know, people was outright murdered for speaking the way I do. Because they don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to embrace these lies, because these lies make you you're more easily controlled. They control you through religion. They control you through spirituality. They control you through the television and the DVDs and all this other media, brainwashing media. Through politics, politricks, some of y'all say. What has these politics, what have, in the manner that we're used to using the political system, how has it helped us? The politicians give you nothing. God gives you nothing. Spirituality gives you nothing. Y'all like stuff that give you nothing. Just make you feel good. Go ahead, Donald Trump. What has Donald Trump really done for you? Nothing. Praise Jesus. Praise the Lord. What has it done for you? Nothing. Elijah Muhammad said in his teaching, why do the black man love the white man? Because it gives you nothing. Why do you love Louis Farrakhan? Why do you love Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, and all these beautiful YouTubers out here in YouTube land? Because they give you nothing. But when somebody step up to the plate to show you that you can get something, show you that you can get something with your own hands, use your own brain, but you'd rather believe in somebody that gives you nothing.
Hold up, wait a minute, let me put some truth in it.
When I was a young person growing up, like many of you who are male, who are of the male gender, you know that you are different from female. You know that you are not to grow up to be a woman. You know this. Your instincts tell you that you're not a woman. You don't have to be taught. You don't have to be told. There should be an instinct in all of us by nature to tell you how you should roll in this life, gender-wise. In nature, you do not see gender-confused lions or bees or ants or no other life. The only one who suffer from gender confusion, the only one who is born a sex, a gender, their brain tells them, I'm a woman, but I'm born in a male body. You cannot find in nature this type of behavior. The human being has become an extremely unnatural life form. One of the reasons of why the human being in modern so-called civilized society, you do not see signs of this in what we call primitive society. Why is this? The possibility is because in modernized, civilized society, there is extreme exploitation and abuse of women, sexual abuse of women, sexual molestation of children. And in modern day society, we consume and eat things, these chemicals. We give our babies, instead of breast milk from the mother, we give them baby formulas, Similac milk. Excuse me. And as we grow up, our minds is influenced by a television and a radio and a media controlled by those who suffer this mental disorder of sexual confusion, gender confusion. So it should not be a shock to any of you, any of us, that we live in a society, civilized society, that the human being made unnatural, made so unnatural that Caucasian people, white people trying to be black, black folks trying to be white, Chinese trying to be like white folks, Chinese trying to be black, black trying to be like Chinese folks. Nobody in the civilized world want to be how they was born, because their natural instinct in civilized society has been destroyed. So now you are confused. I'm black. I'm a black woman and I want to wear a blonde weave so I can look like a Caucasian woman. I'm a Caucasian woman and I want to put on an afro. I want to look like a black woman, and the sickness goes on and on all around the earth. This coronavirus is really, really bad. But prior to the coronavirus, you have these mental disorders, these sicknesses, and it was caused by a different kind of virus, well beyond our control. But it's easier to control and dominate a society filled with gender confused people, race confused people, just confused about everything in life, waiting on invisible gods and demons and spirits and all types of other nonsense, easily controlled. These persons living in fairy tale worlds and delusions, while in reality, their reality is living in suffering and death and confusion. But I knew as a young boy, and no man, no other male had to tell me that I am a male and I am different from the female. I was different from my sisters and my aunties and my female cousins. I'm different. My nature guided me to where I need to go. There was nothing to influence nature guiding me where I need to go. Now, due to no fault of my own, as I grew up and I watched the other young boys growing into men, one of the characteristics of manhood that I noticed in us, as we begin to mature, we begin to grow hair on our face, the mustache and the beards. We begin to grow as we mature. And another attribute or a sign of our maturity was the deepening of our voices. For me, my voice never got deep. So I had to, matter of fact, my natural voice was more so like Michael Jackson. I did not like that. I heard Michael Jackson talk. I did not like that. I heard my own voice. I did not like that. I got to do something about it. So I began to work on my vocals, trying to put bass in my voice, because men supposed to have that strength. Men supposed to have that power in their voice. So I practiced, and I had to practice and keep practicing until I got that, get some bass in my voice. Now, is it me or am I dreaming? But the young men that I see today, I was watching a college basketball game, and I was just watching the behaviors of the young men, looking at their physical makeup. And they were interviewed. I'm listening to their voices, and I'm like, I don't hear that bass in their voice. When they walk, I don't see the strength. I don't see that soldier, warrior, like the character that men are supposed to bring with them. And this is not to say they are gay or they are sexually confused, but I guarantee you, most of them were raised on baby formula. I guarantee you, they never been in a situation. See, how can you be a man when you don't have an example of a man and your nature has been destroyed? These young men, nature, their very nature has been destroyed. It should be natural for you to learn how to court the female. It should be natural. Nobody should have to teach you. Nobody should have to guide you. You should be natural. But it's not. But when your nature is destroyed, but you still have that urge to reproduce, but you don't know how to approach it, you don't know how to appeal to womanhood. And one of the things that's a problem is you have these young men, they have all these braids in their hair and ponytails and earrings in their ear and all like that. They are taught that that is part of manhood. That's acceptable. Plaits and braids and earrings and all the traits that you would view as something that women would carry. And then you wonder why, well, how come women are more friendly with gay men and homosexual men than us? Is because they have gone all out. They are expressing. And it's easier for them to be a woman rather than a male. In this society, a male, according to the things that we have been taught, a male is supposed to protect, provide, protect, provide, and all that type of good stuff. And these young men have no example of no man that protects. You're supposed to be an alpha male. You do not produce food, clothing, and shelter for yourself. An alpha male does not live with another man. And you wonder why the sisters are attracted to the other male because he's more dominant. You are the beta male. He's the alpha male. And anybody with any kind of eyes can see that's the reality of the situation. So your strategy is, if I can beat down women, I can force them to accept me as an alpha male. You're not an alpha male. You live with your enemy. You depend on another man for food, clothing, and shelter. You're supposed to provide and you're supposed to protect. You do nothing. And you don't even stand strong. Your voice is not even deep. Look at how some of these men walk and carry themselves. They don't even put on the picture of power. And when they talk and their arguments sound weak, and you wonder why women or nobody respects you, because your nature has been destroyed. These men that call themselves alpha males don't have a pot to piss in. Another man directly or indirectly makes it so that you're able to survive. And these young boys, and even yourself, your fathers and your grandfathers prior to you wasn't no alpha male. So how the hell are you going to be an alpha male? And really your condition is probably worse than theirs. Another thing. Woo, man. Another thing that these alpha males always say, they tell us that the sisters, the black woman, especially if she has dark skin, you are saying that she is masculine. The black woman is masculine. She does not look feminine. That's what you say. This is your problem. This is your problem. And you can see it. If the black woman is masculine and woman is opposite of man, man is opposite of woman, if you saying that she is looking masculine, then this means that you are becoming feminine. That you are becoming woman-like. And that's exactly what you see with your earrings in your ear. Some of these men paint their nails. And these are heterosexual men. Heterosexual men got hair all the way down to their buttocks. These are heterosexual men. They wear all this flower, perfume, cologne stuff all the time. They have all kinds of earrings in their ear. They have braids and all kinds of stuff. If they turn around, walking right next to a woman, you can't tell who is who. So you make the allegation or the accusation that the soul sister, that this black woman, that this soul sister, they don't look feminine enough for you. Maybe because you have taken it, the femininity away from them and passed it on down to yourself. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, Negro, you talking crazy. Of course I'm talking crazy. Now, if a woman is taking some type of testosterone, what they call it, some type of drug or whatever, going through some type of change or whatever, yeah. But your hatred for the sisters to the point where you're going to call out women masculine looking. Then you insult my mother and my auntie and my female cousins and all the women in my family. You insulted, so I'm going to insult you back, and you verify what I say. Because you don't have a deep voice. You don't walk strong. You don't talk. You don't carry yourself strong. You carry yourself weak. You are more, so you will recognize masculinity because you don't have it. You're more feminine than the woman is. And this is why you cry. These men are more emotional. They cry more, they're more emotional. Their feelings get hurt much faster than any woman. And you know something, you are absolutely right. Using your logic, you are absolutely right. Because if the woman is opposite of man, man is opposite of woman, then if she's becoming more masculine, that means you are becoming more like her. And some of these men dress like women, wear makeup, lipstick, they want to be transgender or whatever the hell they want to. See, this shows how weak you are. And you think you can bully people to make them do what you want them to do. But there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to make a change. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything that you say, everything that you do, how you act, how you behave, it's beautiful, it's correct. That's not how it goes. If something is wrong with her, she is masculine, that means that you're feminine and something is wrong with you also. It is impossible for both of us to be living in this toilet bowl and there's something wrong with her, but there's not nothing wrong with you. That's not how it works. So I want you to think about that, and you're not going to think about it because there's nothing wrong with you. It's all about her. However, see, if you really was an alpha male, see, alpha males protect their women. Alpha males provide for their women. Protect and provide. You cannot protect, you cannot provide. So anybody, it reminds you of a male rooster. He is on guard, making sure nobody mess with his hens. You, on the other hand, anybody, an Arab, Asian, Caucasian, anybody can just come into your neighborhood and do whatever they want to our women and to you. But you're an alpha male. An alpha male in what society? When did this happen? The so-called Negro in America, the black man, has never been an alpha male. When did you go from a slave, living with your massa, and you still live with your massa, when did you become this alpha male? Only in your mind. Only in your mind. The fairy tales in your mind. And what is your example? What is your idea of what manhood is anyway? You copying the Peckerwood. You trying to follow some religious code that you got from somewhere else. Your nature has been destroyed So you got to learn what a man is. Since your nature has been destroyed, you have to learn it. Somebody got to teach you how to be a man. Nature, you was born a man. You was born a boy to grow up into a man. You don't need nobody to teach you nothing. But you have to be taught these things. And so since you don't have a nature and have to be taught, now you live in a world of confusion. You thinking that you're alpha male. Your nature will tell you you're not alpha male. So I'm gonna have to step up my game. I'm gonna have to step up to the plate and take my position as this alpha male. You're not an alpha male. You're not even a beta male. You're a slave. You're a slave that drive a fancy car. You're a slave, live in a nice house. You're a slave, you can vote Republican and Democrat. You're a slave, and you can do all these incredible things. You're still a slave. You gotta ask permission from other people. Can I or can I not do this? You're not an alpha male. You're not even a beta male. Slave. If you want to come out of this condition, your best partner is our female, is our soul sister. Calling her names, trying to bully, to try to make her submit to you for whatever reason. So if all the sisters submit to y'all, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do for her and her children? What you gonna do? The same nothing you did last year, the same nothing that you did the year before last, the same nothing you did 10 years ago, the same nothing you did 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, with your alpha male ass. Before you can judge others, you need to straighten up your own act. Something is wrong with you. Nobody is in a position to tell nobody nothing till you work on yourself first. So the male gender has to work on themselves first. The male gender must get themselves together. And I guarantee you, if you ever do regain your nature, come back to yourself as a man, and begin to act and provide and do what you say men are supposed to do, you don't have to worry about the sisters. They will come. They will get behind you. But right now you're weak. All thing you can do is talk. Run your mouth. You're not going to challenge the alpha male. You're not going to challenge the male on top of the mountain. You're too scared, and you don't even really know how. So you want somebody, you want the sisters, and you want your children, you want them to submit to you so you can feel like an alpha male. But you did not earn it. You just want to feel like you're a man, but you have not earned it. Still a slave, still living with massa, still depend on massa for food, clothing, and shelter, and the coronavirus vaccine. You depend on another man for everything with your alpha male ass. If you are an alpha male, you are the weakest, most pathetic alpha male ever in history. And like King Noble said, that's a fact.
You got all your bad boys, they fight and they curse, but Mr. Goody Two Shoes will whip you worse. But Mr. Two Shoes, he got some new shoes.
JJ. See you later, okay?
Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Speak your mind and change will follow. Now's the time, make your tomorrow.
It's your right to vote. Please don't let it slip away.
Don't let the few
Rule the many.
Rock the vote. Rock the vote.
I was walking in my neighborhood, and you can probably walk in your neighborhood. And as you know, there are immigrants from the continent of Africa. They come here and they set up shop. They open businesses so they can take care of themselves. They also open up businesses that is directed towards other African immigrants. In this case, I am going to stop by this African grocery store. I decide to go into this store owned by African immigrants. I don't know what nation they come from. But I'm looking at the fruits and the vegetables and the spices, the things that they have for sale in this African grocery store. Now, some of the vegetables, some of the fruits is a little familiar. That look like a peach, that might look like a papaya, that look like lettuce. But I guarantee you, it's nothing like I think. It looks like lettuce. It looks like such and such, but it's not. Why don't I know what these fruits and vegetables are? The problem is, much of these things will only be grown and only be found on the African continent. It is a part of those who live there. They know how it tastes. They know what it can be used for. And their family has probably been eating and using these things for generations upon generations. Now, you and I, being born in America, any of us going to these stores, even some of these Mexican grocery stores, you see fruits and vegetables and even meats that, what is that? You don't know what it's about. Some of them sell, some of them even sell their medicines and things. You don't have no idea what is it used for. What is it about? You don't know. You don't know. unless you probably lived on the African continent. The point I want to make here is, when it comes to this, black people of America are Africans. The original slaves come from Africa. See, so now you see that you and I, just by going into an African-owned store, we have no idea of what these fruits and vegetables and these different things, we have no idea what that is. But you mean to tell me that the Caucasian people brought slaves from Africa to North America, a place they never been before, and all of a sudden they learn what to eat, they know about the animal life, they know how to make medicine out of the different plants they never seen before, animals they never seen before, weather they never experienced, and they come here and they just learned it all real fast. If I took a group of black folks born in America to Africa, into the jungle or some other place, well, not even in the jungle, just over there, how long would it take for you to learn how to make medicine? What fruits and vegetables is good to eat? The slave owner was so impressed by these Africans, you say, their knowledge of medicine, that the slave owner a lot of times would bypass the medicine of his own people, the Caucasian Europeans. Go get me that slave. Go get me that slave. And that slave had the knowledge of animal life and fauna, the plant life, knew what ingredients, how to put together, knew what would do what, and would heal the massa. How is that possible from people who never been or lived in North America? I'm just not getting it. It makes more sense that the original breeding stock, the original people who were slaves, this is not to say Africans did not come, they came later. It's more reasonable to say that the original breeding stock was dark-skinned, melanated people who was already here, and maybe, yeah, they probably came from Africa a long time ago, but they don't live in Africa no more. They've been living here. This is the reason why they know what to eat. They know which plants are medicinal plants. They know how to farm. They know how to do everything because they've been here for thousands of years. In the story of Roots, you had somebody like Kunta Kinte, and he ran away. He had no idea of what plants he could eat, how to survive, what animals to hunt. Kunta Kinte was amazed by the snow. Never seen snow in his life. But you're going to tell me Africans who never been in North America, they know all this just out of nowhere, know all this stuff about plants and animals in North America. It does not make any sense. It just don't make any sense to me. I don't care how you want to try to spin it or explain it. You cannot do that. Because we could do an experiment right now. We could take a group of you, born in America, take you to Africa, and see how well you do. And you don't know nothing about the plants and the animals. You don't know how to live over there. And the African immigrants that come here, they don't know. They have no idea and don't want to know. That's why the African immigrants come here. They open up their own stores and they import the fruits and the vegetables and the meats and whatever it is that they're used to from the continent. They don't even want to know about the local farm. They don't even want to know. Here, woo, I'm going to say this. I'm going to bring this to conclusion. Here we are, live in America, and the majority of us, we don't know. There are plants that grow in your yard, your backyard, your front yard. There are plants all around us that's edible that we can use for medicinal purposes. We have no idea, don't know nothing about it, and you've been born here and raised here for generations. And you don't know. But you mean to tell me some Africans came over here a long, long time ago that have no idea about the environment. They have all this knowledge. Where did it come from? It's more logical that the information come from a people that was already here, been doing this for thousands of years. It's more logical. And if they came, like you said, if they came from Africa, that means they look like Africans. But they're not that no more because they have been here in North America for generations. Which makes them North American. They never lived in Africa. But we live in this fantasy thing, and we caught up in the in racist rhetoric. So the same racism that has made us a victim, we use the same racist mindset to keep us victimized. And we don't want to accept the truth of the matter. It does not change. Whether you are African or Aboriginal does not change that at one time or another you was called so-called Negro. You're called an African American. Does not change that reality. Does not change that we are descendants of slaves born in America. Does not change that. But the original breeding stock, the original people that kept this, that started this and kept it rolling, had to be here already. And that's why they were so valuable. The African brought over here can only give a slave owner, a slave master, labor. But an Aboriginal, a melanated dark-skinned Aboriginal that was already here, not only can you get labor, but you have a lot of other different skills, a lot of different know-hows, because they've been living here for thousands of years. That's the reason why slavery was so successful. They already know. They already have the knowledge. Now, if you can show me different, my mind is open. I'm listening. I'm listening to what you have to say. I just don't see it. The story, the transatlantic slave trade story, just don't make any sense. Africans coming over here with all and just all this knowledge just come from out the sky. They know all this. It just don't make any sense because you cannot even replicate that. Right now you can't replicate it. So how is it possible way back then? Like I said, most of us, we are born and raised in America, and we don't know ourselves. But people, foreigners, who never been in North America, they have all this knowledge. Are you serious? See, it's things that make you say, some don't make sense. Now, if I'm in error, show me the error of my ways. I'm listening. I'm always open to listening to you, but you're gonna have to make sense. That's the problem. This transatlantic slave trade story, it just don't make any sense.